Balling on a budget here.
This is a mystery box for me.
Okay, this is a huge sleeper.
The sales team earned a coffee machine.
People keep dumping more fakes of these out there. It does hurt the market.
This is your Rolex directly.
Listen up, you watch dealers out there.
We're still working on the loops.
Ask Marco about these watches.
Crystal needs to go.
This is a thing of beauty.
It's Max.
Then he became skeptical.
Grandpa's watch, boys.
Hey, look what I've got. We've been talking about coffee machines for a while. The sales team earned a coffee machine. I myself don't drink coffee. It's just heavier than I thought. Hey, guess what, Marco?
Hold on, is this another authentication segment?
For you.
For me or the team?
I mean, I don't drink coffee, so really.
Everybody here drinks coffee except for this guy. Do you drink coffee, Ty?
I have a coffee right here.
Okay.
What is it?
No, I don't have to.
We do need an ice machine so people can make their iced coffees. I don't want to hear it.
Oh yeah, come on now.
What was the result?
Damn, this thing's got some air pressure going on. Damn. Yeah, you did well. S8. This is the same machine I have at home, which is a very, very good unit. I know for you coffee guys out there, well, it's not this $18,000 to $25,000 handmade espresso machine I've got in Italy.
Hey, we're balling on a budget here.
We're balling on a budget, but this right here.
It's pretty good. Does it have the milk frother, Marco?
No, it doesn't. Sorry, I take that back. It has the milk frother built in, yes, but we need to buy the
reservoir.
The reservoir that I have at home, so it keeps the milk cold.
You know how to hook this thing up?
I have no clue, dude. I had to hire a technician to figure out where this. I didn't even know what this does. I was like, "What is this?"
Hey, do you handle these things?
Yeah, I got you. What's up, guys? I bombed the last showroom showcase, so I threw on the bomber to bomb this one again. We got about 5 great heavy hitters this time, so I'm excited to show you what we got. So we're gonna grab the first watch. It's actually one of my personal favorites. When I hit the lottery, this will be one that I'm picking up here. This is the Gmt Master Ii. It's a 116718. It's obviously the green dial, been discontinued. Currently, we have this available for $47,000. It is full links, complete set, absolute gorgeous piece. You can tell, I mean, it's barely been worn. This thing is extremely clean. PCLs, it's the polished center links, are all flush and really smooth. Not a lot of hairlines or anything like that. So let me put this one over here. Let's go with the solid gold theme. Let's keep that rolling. We got right here a bluesy. And then this is the newer reference, 126718LB, also solid gold. This one's a little bit more used. You can see the PCLs here, that polished center link. This one has a bunch of hairlines. Easy thing is with the gold, it's really easy to clean up. It's nothing really to worry about. So if you want us to polish something like this prior to shipping, we can get it done for about a day or two. And this one we actually have available for $40,000. So let me know, let me take the two. What would you take? Blue dial and green dial are kind of the biggest heavy hitters in the Rolex market. Are you going with the GMT or are you going with the sub? Personally, GMT. Okay, this is a huge sleeper. I don't know why it got overlooked so hard. As far as it comes to Tudors, the black bays, this is the black bay steel. One of my absolute favorites. Personally, I prefer it on the metal bracelet. This one's obviously on the leather strap. The cool reason here is it actually has a date window. So one of my favorite things is obviously having a watch with a couple of functions. Date window is a must-have for me. That's why every sub I get, I always like the date window in it. I believe this is a 2018. I can double check though. And then this one is up for $3,500. It's a complete set as well. So you can get a black bay with an actual date window. I don't know why most black bays don't have it. Actually, none of them do except for this one. And the two-tone one. Anyways, a great one to buy. I think for the next one, we should go with Omega. Great brand, a lot of history here, and I think this one is one that most people need to look up. So it is a blue ceramic, so the whole case is cased in ceramic. It is a Speedmaster on a leather strap right here. So this one's a complete set. It is pre-owned, but it's a 2022, and we have it up for $9,000. Lots of history behind this watch. Obviously has a lot of functions. You get a date window and the moon phase. It complements the blue ceramic rolling into that blue leather strap. It's kind of unbeatable. So this is a great piece. You can get right now for $9,000, 2022 complete. So for the last piece, it's one of my absolute favorite pieces you can get. We're gonna go AP this time. We actually have a partnership going on. It's not something I can really discuss too in depth about, but hopefully soon we can actually talk about it a little bit more open. But this is a watch that we are bringing over for that. This is a code 1159. As you can see, it is a perpetual calendar. This is a really unique piece. I don't know if a lot of people know about perpetual calendars, but it basically does everything a watch can do. This will tell you what week we're in, it will tell you the day, it will tell you the date, and then what's really cool, it will actually tell you where we are in the leap year cycle. So it can track up to 4, obviously. and that's what that top one is doing. So it'll tell you what month we're in, and then right below it is that other hand is tracking the leap year cycle. Very cool, and then obviously tells you the time. So something like this is just extremely valuable. Also has a moon phase in here, so let us know what you think. If you're to go a perpetual calendar, is this one you would get on the leather strap right here? It's a nice little gold buckle. Just to keep things straight here, this watch is not for sale. It is going over to that partnership. Like I said, hopefully we can talk about that pretty soon. But in the meantime, if this is something you would like, we can easily source you one. So just let us know if this is the AP that you would want, or if you want a different type of perpetual calendar. It'd be really cool to get some more of those in the shop. I would like to see a little bit more of that. We got them all on the tray. Once again, when you want to buy these, put my name in the description so I get the commission. I was kidding, unless you want to. But so let us know what you would like to see in the showroom showcase. We're excited to kind of bring this along and show you what else we have. If you want to see more brands outside of Rolex, or some of the sleepers that we get in here, I'd like to set those aside and make sure we show them to the showroom showcase.
All right, listen up, you watch dealers out there, at least whoever still remains. I've seen a lot of watch dealers go out of business in the last 8 to 10 months, just given the market environment. I'm gonna give you guys a little bit behind the scenes on e-commerce, our website. I've had a lot of people reach out to figure out how we're positioning ourselves from an e-commerce perspective. And there's a couple things that you wanna know. If you're looking to start your own website for e-commerce, there's a lot of different options. The big one is Shopify. You can do something on WooCommerce, BigCommerce, Magento. All of these different things offer different values as well as different costs and different levels of work that you have to do. So Grand Caliber is on Shopify. Will this always be the case? Likely not. I think we're getting to a point where we're scaling to be much bigger than what Shopify can offer. The reason being is Shopify is a closed-end source, meaning there's limitations on what you can do with it. It's, in my opinion, kind of like Apple, where it works very well, but you're limited on the options that you have. Whereas if you're on a PC or an Android, there's a lot more flexibility. Shopify is closed-in source, which impacts our merchant services. So there's a lot of different merchant services out there, Stripe, whatever the case may be. Well, you only can really use Shopify payments on Shopify. If you use a third-party gateway, it's gonna cost you 0.5% or even 1% depending on what package of Shopify you're on. So point is, Shopify is great for someone that's starting out, but if you're someone that's scaling, you might wanna consider some other options like BigCommerce or Magento. For example, I would bet you that Luxury Bazaar is on Magento. I bet you Anthony is on WordPress. These are things to consider. There's obviously cost for barrier or cost of entry on some of these platforms, but you don't want to get yourself stuck into a long-term contract, for example, Shopify Plus for a 12-month contract when it might not be best fit for your company. So those are things that we're reviewing. I don't know if you guys want to hear things like this. If you do, let me know in the comments below, but this is kind of where I run the business with e-commerce, hiring, staffing, business meetings, things like that. If that interests you, let me know. Now, there is something I want to show you. Check this out. This is potentially our new boxes. I've worked really hard with the manufacturer to create this. Sometimes boxes come watch only, and instead of shipping it in a pouch like most watch dealers do, I was thinking about giving those watches in a box like this. So, what's great is you have the slot for cards, warranty booklets, anything like that. If you take a look really closely, I'm not sure if you can tell, but the material, it feels like there's a lot of texture there. I like that. For the box itself, you open it up, you have our logo, you have the barcode that takes you to our website, you have our logo again. I like throwing our logo everywhere. But yeah, this is a nice little box that you potentially could get with a watch-only box or a watch-only watch. I'm still working on the logistics about ordering more of these. We have 2 samples in, testing out the colors, testing out the feel, testing out the design. I think these are awesome. What do you think, Matt?
Yeah, it looks good. It looks very well defined too.
Yeah, could be coming to a location near you.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to an authentication segment. We've got some interesting stuff today. Before we start authenticating, I want to show you guys something cool. So I was at the Miami trade show this weekend with Alfred. Unfortunately, Vic couldn't make it. He got COVID. Hopefully he has a speedy recovery. While we're here and talking, let's go over these straps that I bought. So I went to the show. There was a lady selling handmade Italian straps, so I thought, this is a sample pack that I bought. So these are just straps I'm gonna start offering on the website, so give it some time, but I'm gonna go back in December to the IWJG show and try to buy like 100, 150 of these, just a variation, you know, different variations, and offer them for sale to you guys. Haven't really figured out price point yet. Got to figure out overall what it's going to take, but these straps are very, very high quality. They're really nice, and they're very basic. If you guys out there with vintage watches or even modern, we're definitely gonna start offering these on the website. I got to figure out how to do it. So we have these that'll probably start at around $100 and go up, and then you have these custom. These are actually made from real Louis Vuitton bags that are just retired. We're still working on the loops, so I did not forget you guys out there on the loops. I know you guys have been asking. I went back to the trade show this weekend and looked at them, but they were asking way too much money out there for those, so it just wasn't cost effective to stock them. I'm working with a friend of mine to get the suppliers down so we can actually bulk purchase, you know, maybe 40 to 80 of them, and then start distributing them out as well. There is talks of making them the official Grand Caliber loop. First watch. Oh, okay, ladies, factory 31mm date just from glancing, it's a factory diamond dial, diamond bezel, but of course we will verify that. The way you want to make sure these diamonds on the bezel are good, the easiest way to tell is look at the tables of the stones and make sure they all line up. Yeah, this is factory. The tables line up perfectly. Dial looks perfect. Obviously new style.
Yo.
What's up?
Welcome back.
Thank you.
When you were gone, we got a bunch of watches. They all look vintage that came in, and it says, "Ask Marco about these watches. No information." Do you know what these are for?
Yeah, a friend of mine shotgunned me a bunch of vintage watches he wanted me to sell, and I didn't have time to, you know, sit down and punch each one of these in chrono keys.
All right, just random watches. Anything good?
I don't know. He just said I got a care package for you. Oh my god, I don't know. Okay, so I actually don't know what he sent. He just said like, hey, I got a bunch of vintage watches. They're just sitting in my safe. They're not doing anything. I'm gonna send them to you. Of course, I'm in Miami, so I'm like, yeah, go ahead and send them. I don't know what they are. So you know who you are. I appreciate you sending them. So we're gonna take a good look at these and see what they are, because I don't even know. It's like a mystery box for me of vintage watches.
It's interesting because here's an invoice that has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
I
6 watches.
I haven't looked at the invoice.
But I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 with 3 other boxes.
Well, they probably go together.
Okay, so maybe 6. These are the 6 watches and 3 boxes that came with it.
Yeah.
Hey, you can't see through this paper, can you?
No.
How much is this? I'm really intrigued by this.
This is a 16-8000 with the bracelet. I handpicked the strap at the IWJG show for it. I know a lot of people have been asking me about these watches, so I went ahead and grabbed one just for fun. This is a really sick watch. They're really, really rare. This is probably one of the nicest dial in hands I've ever seen, and not to mention the bezel is turning blue. You can't really see it on camera, but it's got like a gunmetal blue color with the perfect dial in hands. This watch is just honestly a perfect example of a 16-8000. The only thing I don't like, but it is what it is, it has been polished. It's not overly polished.
Original bezel.
Everything's 100% on this head.
God damn! Look at the patina on that.
It's perfect. It's going pumpkin. We had a pumpkin 16610 that Vic bought, let's say a couple months ago, and he sold it, but that one was pretty nice, but it did have some, what?
That 6 is kind of cool.
Oh, it's open. Yeah, it's got an open 6, which is correct. Open. They call them open 6 and 9 date wheels, which is something Jimmy picked up on.
Eagle eye, look.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, so let's talk numbers. After this, I'm intrigued.
You're intrigued. All right, I'll talk numbers with you privately.
I'm
Publicly, this is a... Okay. What are you filming?
I'm getting both of you in there. Look at you. You're standing 2 feet apart.
It's so funny. I wish you could see what I see. I should just do B-roll of what I see all the time, because it looks like you're pointing out the window.
What if I'm a cameraman behind you?
It would be awkward. But what do you think of the strap lineup that I picked up?
Not interested.
You're not interested. He immediately doesn't like the Louis Vuitton strap. There's some hype guys out there with, I'm going to wear this on the Tiffany & Co.
Interested.
Okay, that's a 20mm. There's some 19mm.
Interested.
Okay. These are samples, so you can't personally have them. You have to...
No, I just want this watch.
Okay, we'll talk about the watch.
Wow, look how clean that is.
It is super nice.
It is so clean.
Wow.
I gotta run some B-roll on this one.
For sure.
Yeah.
All right, well, do your unboxing, and then you're gonna put this into inventory later today?
Yeah, I'm glad they even made it, because the tracking shows unavailable completely.
I'm gonna take this invoice though. I'll need it.
Yeah, that one's not on there. Anyways.
Steve McQueen.
Hey, why are you ruining it? This is a mystery box for me.
Mystery box.
This is literally a mystery box. Now he said Steve McQueen. The title of the video is we got sent a vintage mystery box.
Yeah.
Ah, here we go. This is a teal blue 124-300. It's more teal. I hate using the word Tiffany on this, because if you actually see the Tiffany, it's more of like a seafoam green. This is more of like a baby blue. I know certain groups that banned selling these watches because the fakes started like overwhelming the real ones, because they don't state the dials on the papers. A lot of dealers were getting fooled by them because they couldn't tell, what was good, what was not.
So what do you lean on to authenticate?
What I'm gonna look at is the actual dial itself. I don't care what color it is. I'm gonna look at the text, the way the printed, you know, the way Rolex was printed on the dial, the way the cornet is, the way the markers look, you know, obviously everything looks proper about this one. The fake ones kind of look blotchy. So whenever you see the word Rolex Oyster Perpetual, it's not going to have a very nice layout. You know what I mean? Like the print is kind of more, you'll see bubbling, or you'll see, you know, inconsistencies. You'll start seeing things that just don't really line up with the way a Rolex should be. And it really takes a strong, good loop with the light to see what I'm talking about. So you see how the 3, 6, and 9 markers are double stacked. So if I were to have an aftermarket one, it wouldn't necessarily line up perfectly, because I've looped out several aftermarket ones and they're always off center just by a hair, because they don't perfectly sit together.
They're not parallel.
Yeah, they're not perfectly parallel, and these are perfectly parallel every time. This one perfectly flushes, and it's actually one piece.
So it's not two separate indices?
It's not two separate indices. On the replica dial, it would be two separate indices that they just kind of they sandwich it together for the look. Current market on these right now, at the trade shows all over the place, what I've seen, they've kind of held their ground around low 20s, so I'd say you can pick one of these up for around 23.5 to 25.5, depending on condition, year, and so forth. You know, this is a watch that was retailing high in the 30s. Now they're retailing low 20s. So I don't think they'll really go any lower than that, unless there's external forces at hand that cause the market to just drop even more, such as if people keep dumping more fakes of these out there, it does hurt the market. So, you know, there's that. That's a 124300. Teal blue dial, or baby blue. Actually, it's really closer to baby blue. Matt, what's your camera say?
Daphne blue.
Daphne blue. How do you get the Daphne blue? What is Daphne blue?
It's an old paint code Fender used on some of the old Stratocasters. And
what about you have my 1964 Jazz Master. What color is that? Seafoam green?
Lake Placid blue.
Lake Placid blue? Specific lake?
Specific lake, and the best color, painted headstock. Very cool.
You guys out there, he's got my 64 Jazz Master on his workbench. I'm very excited to get that back, but patience is a must with this one, right?
Yes, sir.
Moving on, we're diving into this mystery box. I do not know what's in this package of watches. Before we start, I know Jimmy got really excited. This is a watch I picked up at the show. It is a 168000 9.3 serial. So any of you guys out there, if Jimmy doesn't steal this before this video ends, this is going to be up for sale. If you look here, it's got the matching 16800 box. The cool thing about these watches is they're all marked 168,000 for a very small range, probably 6 months, maybe even a year, less than a year for sure. But all the papers for these, you know, if they ever had papers, they all say 16800. Nothing says 168,000 other than just a reference number. This watch is in incredible condition. I looped it out. It has a flawless dial, flawless hands. I don't think the dial or hands have ever left this case. Still keeping good time. There's just really nothing wrong with this watch at all. The only, you know, the insert is super mint on it. It's turning to this like blue. It's got a blue hue going on with it. Only complaint about this watch, crystal needs to go. You know, it's got chips on along the bottom of it. It's got a nice scratch down the middle of it. It is what it is. If this is actually a watch I personally wouldn't mind sending to LA Watchworks or one of my other guys and just having them kind of recut the case, put those nice, you know, edges back on. It's already polished, so you might as well. I don't care at that point. You know, had it been unpolished, beat up with the edges, I would say leave it alone. This box is not disclosed. But we have papers. Oh, wow. Full set 1675 root beer. GMT, complete with papers. It's a 2.9 serial. The original chronometer papers with it. These are amazing. And then it has this was sold in some Spanish country because it says Su Rolex Oyster, which is your Rolex Oyster. And it's also serialized with the same, so let's see if it matches. 2.915 at 185. That matches. Translation papers. And these are really hard to come by, guys. If you have a GMT with this booklet, this is the original booklet from the you know, early 70s moving on to like, they stopped using these around 81. And they have that smell. They all have that old book smell. You can't.
It smells like a pawn shop in here with all the old vintage boxes and everything.
It does. Yeah. It does have a crazy smell going on. I love the smell though. It smells like an old library. Mm-hmm. If you can imagine, like, go smell an old book from the 70s. It smells just like that. Damn, this is in really good shape. As you guys just heard me say, I wouldn't touch a watch if the chamfers were on it and it was beat up. This is a perfect example. If you can see the edges, you can see that the edges are still there, and this has not been polished. That's insane. I will say right off the bat, this is not the original bracelet, because I can tell you right away, it does not have the correct 50 end links, as I have told you guys in previous videos. This is just a Datejust, man. Dial is perfect, hands look really good. Let's give it a tritium test. You see that?
Yep.
Yeah, perfect reaction. I'll show you. Look at this one. This one reacts crazy. This one's got a very healthy reaction. It's almost, I mean, that's, so you see these two have the exact reaction that you want to see with tritium. See the pearl? Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's almost like it's glowing back. So that's like a really good way to put it. So when you're checking your watch, it should glow back. Now, if it looks like you're just putting light on it and it's absorbing the light, that's either been reloomed or it does not have a sense, or does not have a presence of tritium anymore. So I'm excited to get this one shot and photographed and hopefully sold. This is a really nice piece. You don't see these complete. And the next watch. All right. What in the world? I don't know what this is. It's a link.
No, what is that link encased in? Is that original wax paper from Rolex?
Yeah, that is Rolex wax paper. Yeah. Rolex wax paper has its own little market. People pay good money for that stuff. I have wax paper for 6263 bezels, 6263 pushers. I keep all that stuff. There's no watch here. We'll set this aside because there's no watch.
UPS guy got a new watch.
All right, next watch. Moving on. 5513. Looks to be a gilt dial. Service end links. This is not the correct bracelet for it. This bracelet didn't even exist when this head was born. So this should have like a USA rivet or a 7206 or a 9315. There's many variations, and it has the incorrect insert. This is a Mark IV, Mark IV insert. Mark IV inserts were found on the later 80s 5513s, or this is just simply a service insert. I think it's a service insert. So the older gilt dials will have a very strong green reaction, and you pull away, it should die off pretty fast. Yeah. So it looks like it's already died off. That's correct. Next thing to do is pull the bracelet. 1.2 serial. Let's see what kind of movement we have in here. Or 1520 actually. 1520 or 1530, that's fine. This watch was made in the third quarter of 1965. So that's, you can still date these earlier, mid 60s watches. So that's correct. 1.2 should be around 65. 65 is 1.2. So this is a 1965 gilt dial 5513. There you go. If you guys wear on straps, there you go. It's not an unpolished example, but it's a very nice example. It looks all original, no problems. It has a little DNA on it, but that's okay. This would probably trade right now around 16 to 18,000. That's probably the price point we're gonna go for. We need to find a period correct insert for it. It's a meters first dial, which is normal for a 65. Other than that, it's a nice sample. Looks like it has a service crystal, service insert. Dial hands appear to be original. I don't see any issues there. No relooming or anything like that. Okay. Alright, here's an interesting watch for you guys. This is a very rare watch. This is a 6542 GMT Master without the crown guards. This watch actually measures at 37 to 38 millimeters as opposed to 40. I believe the last run of them got a little bit bigger, but the earlier ones were a little bit smaller. This watch, we should hit it with the Geiger counter because this one should pick up in theory. If it doesn't pick up, then we have a problem. And you've got the red date wheel that changes to red to black, red to black. We do not have the Bakelite bezel for it, but it does have the correct bezel ring. Case is nice and thick. So that hand right there is glowing way brighter than the dial. So either the dial has lost material or the hands have been reloomed. But we're gonna open the case back. These should have a 1030 butterfly movement in them. So that's what I expect to see. And it should be a 1958 case back. Let's see, all right, so there you go. That's the butterfly movement that we want to see, and 1030. Case back is fourth quarter 1958, 6542. Yeah, it's got a couple of servicing marks on it throughout the years. It's been serviced by PRS.
Paul Reed, yeah.
Yeah, Paul Reed, you out here servicing 6542s? Yeah, this is a nice sample.
So we have to go back to that. So there's not just like a hash mark that somebody serviced it. There's literally initials.
So watchmakers will do one of two things. They'll take a Sharpie and they'll date it, or they'll put their initials in there, and they'll do like a year. So like they might put 20 or 21 in their initials. Or I see a lot of times they'll take a very fine tipped tool and scratch in the service record number that they keep, and then you can find that in the case back forever. So when the watch comes back, they can reference back to what they replaced, what they did to it, and so forth. They don't really do that so much anymore. Now Rolex, what they do is they just give you the service papers. And
it's all digital records, right?
Yeah. The dial on this is pretty good. Looks like it's going kind of more of a tropical, turning a little brown on the edges. Going tropic on these watches brings up the value quite a bit. We're gonna grab the Geiger counter and see if this thing registers. I have no idea what's gonna happen, so hold on. There we go. Oh damn, is it picking it up from here?
Oh, it's just me.
Oh, I haven't been near this watch. It's 0.26. That's pretty high. That's very high for this room. How strong is this watch? Usually a resting room will be like 0.08 at most.
Slowly move it towards the watch.
Let's see what happens. It's going up. Oh.
Whoa.
Oh.
Go.
Oh my God.
Carcinogenic.
It's maxed.
Maxed out.
It's maxed out. Yeah, there you go. So this is a very radioactive. I mean, I have a headache now, but well, that's not y'all's problem. Next watch, another 5513 with the. This is a nice one. So this is another watch we have here, 5513. With the very expensive 7206. These are the bands that cost a lot of money off these watches. These bands in the marketplace are anywhere from 35 to 5,000, especially if they have the desirable end links, which should be the 80 end links, which it has 80 end links. So this watch, and it also should be dated correctly. Let's see if it has the proper date. 67. They call this the Bart Simpson. The coronet looks like Bart Simpson's head.
Okay.
You see how it looks kind of like Bart Simpson's head? It's just a little blurry because it's gone tropical. So let's see if the case back is correct. It's a 1520. I keep saying 1530, but I'm confusing myself. 1030 is the other movement, but this is a 1520. Remember I was telling you about the case back about, yeah, you can see how people mark them up. So this one was serviced, and look, same guy, PR5, or is that PR4? The other one said PR5, I thought it said PRS, but it says -22, so this was serviced this year. So it should say 67 or 66 on the case back. 66, third quarter of 1966. It was serviced in 2014. Yes, sir. That's correct. No stories with this watch. Everything so far I've seen is correct. This is a beautiful Bart Simpson 5513. Extremely rare. You don't. I've only seen a handful of Bart Simpsons in my life. I haven't seen very many of them, but here's one, and it's really awesome. Going tropic. Let's talk about this one. Grandpa, your watch has been found. Grandpa's watch, boys and girls. This is a 34 millimeter Florentine finish dial, original diamond dial. This is a factory Florentine finish dial. They always come off very refinished like, but in fact they're not refinished. A lot of people throw out these dials so they think they're aftermarket because they do give you that vibe, but no, this dial is fine. It's in really, really awesome shape.
What's the era? Like, what era is it from?
I don't know. I have to pop the bracelet, but it's definitely
like
a
80s
non-quick.
watch?
Oh no, this is definitely like a 74. I'm gonna guess this is a 1974 to 75. I'm surprised the case wasn't Florentine, which is good, but that bracelet in this case is in like insane condition. Like this is in really nice shape. Well, I was wrong. It's a 5.5 million, 78. Okay,
You were really close though.
I said 74, 75, but 78. I'm impressed. I'm very impressed by this watch. I don't even know where to price this thing. This is probably a $10,000 to $12,000 watch, just because of the originality of it and how nice it is.
Well, let's have a look at the buckle on that watch. Are the outer edges high polished and the center?
Yeah. It's kind of got like
What's up with
it's just the way they did it back in the day. They kind of gave it. This bracelet would also work on a solid gold Daytona, which somebody just bought a solid gold Daytona. I see you out there, Drake, buying the 6239 Lemon. That was a nice pickup. We got one more.
One more.
Is this the final chapter? The very, very famous. Which, Jimmy, you gave it away. He said Steve McQueen on the invoice. I didn't see that, but I was like, I guess there's a Steve McQueen in here, and there it is. 1655, Steve McQueen. Pretty rough condition. These are original 580 end links. Like, they have a lot more boldness to them, and they're, like, pronounced. The case is unpolished. This is sick. This has got great foundation to work with. All we really need to do is find the correct crystal for it. I might even send the bezel off to get re-enameled. After that, hopefully the dial is good, no issues. Let's take a look. Yeah, this is a really clean watch. Probably a 78 to 80. I bet you it's a 6 million or later. Yep, 6.2. Yeah, just tell by the dial. All right, there you guys have it. That was the mystery box sent in to me with a bunch of vintage watches. I think it was pretty great. There was some really cool stuff in there. I'm impressed. Hopefully we'll get this thing sold. We'll do pricing on these a little later. I don't know actually what the seller expects to get, but we'll go over that. I'm sure it'll be fine. He knows I'm fair. There you guys go. Hope you enjoyed that segment, and we'll see you next week. So all these watches that came in is a good friend of mine. He just shot it over and just said, figure it out. So I gotta sit here and price out all these watches and then come up with a healthy market value on everything, and then get back to you guys. So 2 of them are Tropic, which you can't see in this lighting, but we go outside and they've got some nice browning like this one right here. All original. Oh, you know that PRS?
Yeah.
That was Philip Ridley. How do we not catch that? There's
Philip
two watches.
You know who Philip Ridley is?
He's a legendary watchmaker, right?
Yeah.
He's very legendary. He actually may have agreed to do a segment with you, Matt.
Look at Matt. He's getting
I know.
all jazzed
but
up.
I've told him it would mean the world. I told him what it meant. Philip Ridley is one of the best vintage watchmakers I know. I mean, he's the only guy I trust with my Paul Newmans. He's always done right by me. I see his name on the back of some of these watches. They've been fully serviced. He knows the ins and outs of these watches like anybody else. He's really, really intelligent, and he comes from a great very, very good background in watchmaking. His brother and his dad are excellent watchmakers. They've been around for a very long time. We've got the Bart Simpson that also has turned very tropic.
The term Bart Simpson.
So it's called the Bart Simpson because if you look at the coronet, it looks like Bart Simpson's head. It's the only one they call Bart Simpson. You have to use a loop.
Oh, yep.
The crown is short and stubby on the top, so it looks like Bart Simpson's head.
Guys, this is a thing of beauty.
Somebody fell in love with it real quick.
Here's where I stand.
All right, let's hear it.
I love the patina.
Yes.
Almost pumpkin.
It's going pumpkin.
It's going pumpkin. I love the fact that Marco's telling me that this is all original. Everything looks to be in phenomenal shape. The only thing I can't wrap my eyes around is the date. I love a no date. The symmetry between a no date is it just looks so much better.
So you need a 5513.
Which I bought a 5513 from you.
Yes, a long time ago. And you sold it, right?
Technically still in my possession. They're making monthly payments. Can you find something like this but a 5513?
Wait, so you don't want this?
I'm getting around to the date, okay? The date throws me off, which is weird because I have a Pepsi that also has a date, but
you can't buy a no date Pepsi, but that's one thing that would be interesting if they ever did a no date Pepsi.
Right?
But you'd have to have a date because it's a 24-hour time zone.
I like the watch. I love the condition of it. On a no date, the symmetry of just a clean watch is something to be desired.
You've got 2 no dates that came in to choose from. You can go Bart Simpson or...
That's out of my price range right now. I'm thinking about buying another car. Just for the camera, I just realized that this makes me look like I have a big stomach. And
you do have a big stomach.
There's been comments about that, so let me just back up a little bit.
It's still big. 'Tis the season.
Yeah, it's the winter holiday. I'm going in hibernation.
Yeah, we're just putting on our warm undercoat.
5513.
It's gonna cost more, you know that, right? A lot more.
Why?
No dates are more desirable.
No dates are more desirable. You heard it here first. Huh?
Yeah, they are more desirable on the sense of like, I mean, if it's not a red sub or something crazy, then you're gonna pay a lot more for a no date than you are for a date. 1680, right? Let's just look at a 1680. A really nice 1680 right now with really good patina, like school bus yellow markers and hands, will run you 14 to 16,000.
All right, educate me on this.
Okay.
This is a 16.
This is a sleeper.
This is 16800.
No, this is what I was trying to tell you. You have a freaking sick watch. This is 16800. 16800. They only made that watch for like 6 to 8 months.
So what's the reference right before that?
16800.
What's reference? 1680.
1680, and then that was it. So
So the first one was ever 1680.
1680 was the first Submariner with a date. Like I said, if you want,
Does the box say 168,000?
none of the paperwork Rolex released ever said 168,000 unless it was like a service warranty or something like that.
Okay.
But no, the papers would be 168,000, but the watch would be stamped 168,000.
Is it stamped 168,000?
Yeah, that's why it's
Where's it
unique.
stamped?
At the 12.
Give me an hour to. Well, you know.
After he shook my
I'm
hand.
Azald. I
did,
shook your
you
hand,
did.
so
You shook my hand.
I'll close it for that price. But I'm just saying,
It's a weird
keep an eye
Mazal.
out. Keep an eye out for its brother, its evil brother that has no date on it.
So a no date, 1986 no date.
Is this 1986?
Yeah.
I wasn't born in 1986 though.
Oh, was you born
Anyone
90?
out there born in 1986?
Yes, you know there are a lot of people have been asking me about 1680.
Well, you know who to call.
I got a little service announcement. This is to Rolex directly. Why do you guys make the best glide lock extension ever and only put it on the sub? So as you can see, you can size this watch like perfect, right? Go in and out. You got about an inch or so of clearance in there. Why is it that when I wear this one, the back girl, I get this little micro extension? So when I extend that and I put it on, it's too big. It doesn't make any sense. But this, you can put it on and you can glide it up two little clicks or anything like that, and it'll fit perfect. So Rolex, can you please put the glide lock on all of your watches?
Just as an update to the viewers, I have purchased this watch, but let me know in the comments below what your thoughts are. I mean, I love it. Love the condition. I love that it's factory. I'm just having a little hard time with the date because on the Submariner, I love the no date look, the symmetry behind it. But at the same time, being a 168,000, a 3.0 reference, it's very unique, it's very rare, only made within 7-month period. So for me as a collector, something to have in the
complaining about that watch.
something to have in the collection. Just saying, I need you to find me a
5513, or do you want a birth year? What's more important?
birth year.
You want a birth year piece?
Because I have a 5513.
Birth year pieces right now have been insanely busy. Like I'm getting so many people hitting me up for birth years. I don't know what it is right now. I need somebody to be born in 1962 and want my GMT.
Anyone out there? 1962? Anyone out there 1993, C serial.
Get off that C serial, man.
C serial, please.
That's the worst
Please.
year, worst birth year watch ever.
Did Jai tell you he dropped the ball? We had a client reach out, wanted a 2002
Y serial.
Y serial
Day
day
date.
date. It was very significant to him. It was his anniversary. Well, that's when him and his wife met, I believe, or got married. So this is the 20-year anniversary. So he wanted to get a 2002 Y serial day date for her. He reached out to Grand Caliber. Unfortunately, Jai did reach back out, but then he never followed up. And then the client looked worldwide on Chrono through other platforms, found 3 out there.
3.
Yeah, 3.
It's not a hard watch to find. 118238 Y serial should not be hard to find.
Specifically 2002.
Okay, that's a Y serial.
That's why I run operations. But what happened is he found 2 on Chrono that were maybe abroad, so he didn't want to do that. He found 1 from a dealer in New York. He hammered that dealer down on price and then was waiting for Jai to follow up. Jai didn't follow up, which was also a missed opportunity because Mark was at IWJG,
I was
which
busy, yeah.
Yeah.
I would have handled it myself, but I was extremely busy. Whenever I'm at trade shows, like I pretty much go ghost to the rest of the world because we're just hammering down booth to booth to booth, trying to find deals, trying to fill clients. So actually, what we're gonna start doing every time we go to a watch show, we're gonna get requests to what you guys are looking for, and then I'll have a list with me of all the watches that you guys request. I'll do a fixed price on that deal. So basically, I'll just say, hey, I'm marking things up $500 or whatever. I don't know. I'll figure it out. And then we'll just basically give you guys the best deal while only I'm at the show, because then whatever I find, I'll mark it up. It'll be the best price possible then and there. If you guys are out there and you want something interesting, that's the best place to find it because there's such a broad spectrum of watches.
when's the next show?
It's
Vegas?
it's in 2.5 weeks. It's coming up again really fast.
Back to this story. Unfortunately, the guy hammered that dealer so much that then he became skeptical on whether or not the watch was legitimate, if there was any, swap pieces or parts or whatever the case may be. So he kind of wanted to get Marco's expertise, but then the watch sold because he was waiting to see if Jai could find one. You can talk to him. I talked to him. I'll get you his number.
The tank's like looming in the background. We're gonna have to
That's
address
my
that.
fish tank.
So here, we'll give everyone an update.
I bought this fish tank.
Sure.
Just say I did.
Okay. He bought the fish tank. So what we're doing here is maximizing the space, doing what we can with what we have. So there's actually another couch coming in that's identical to this one. So that'll be right there. Got a 200-gallon fish tank. We carried this up and it was
Marco's breathing hard like he helped.
Yeah,
So-
I directed them where to put it.
we're getting ready to get this tank going. It's probably gonna take a week or 2 to even.
It's going to take a couple of weeks to get everything sorted. Now, my only question to you, Jimmy, is there's rumor that you're changing the floors.
Maybe. I want to change the floors, but the question is if I'm going to change the floors, I might as well start knocking down some walls. If I knock down some walls, I got to get some permits. It's going to take 3 months to get permits, and then at that point, if I'm going to refloor, knock out some walls, and just kind of redo it, now you're talking probably a 2 to 3 month construction phase, and now you're talking a 6-month process.
It's a big project.
So I don't want to delay this fish tank.
Yeah, but then we're going to have to work around it.
You got to get movers for that.
No, you can just leave the old flooring around the fish tank.
Don't look here.
Did you imagine?
Look how bad that wall patch is.
Yeah, we're going to fix that.
We got to fix that. This has nothing to do with watches, but it's cool.
It's very cool.
And this is where we're going to put the Submariners to show that they're watertight.
Wow, we should start. Yes.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? The little display.
Water test.
You just dunk it in.
All right, welcome back to another segment of Ask Us Anything. I've been going through the comments. You guys see me every week. I try to comment as often as possible. A little lackluster on the Ask Us Anythings this week. So maybe, we're not answering the right questions, or maybe you guys don't have any questions because we're answering so many of them, but who knows? Let us know if you guys have any questions, whether it's for myself, Marco, or anyone on the team, or anything about the business. Comment below. What do you got for us today, Matt?
Greggy Boy says, question for next week. When are you guys coming to the UK? We would love to see you guys come over for one of the big watch shows.
I have no idea. Hopefully in 2023. I would love to go to the UK. It's one of my bucket list places to go, especially London. As you guys know, I'm also an Arsenal fan, so I would love to catch a match over there. Logistically, I just don't know when that happens. I want to make sure that the business is scaled properly to make sure that if we take our team, whether it's myself, Marco, Alfred, Vic, or whomever, that the business can still operate while we're gone. Hopefully in 2023, but I don't have a confirmed date for you.
David T says, after you remove a case back from a Rolex and put it back on, do you test it for waterproofness?
No, we do not not test it for waterproofness after that point, as it shouldn't in theory need to be water tested again unless we mess with the seals or replace the seals. Then yes, I would say, but if it's a brand new Rolex, that seal is going to be just fine. If it's been turned and put back on, it's not going to be a big deal.
Willie Forbin says, question for next week. How do you guys deal with accessories when damaged and broken? For example, straps, clasps, spring bars, buckles, etc.
If it's a watch that's purchased through us, we always stand behind our watches, so we'll work with the client to get that fixed, whether that's taking it to our watchmaker to get the item fixed itself or replacing it. It just depends on the situation, and if it's something that, again, came like that, or if the client, broke their strap somehow, some way, work with them to get it fixed. There would be a cost for that, but again, depends on the situation.
Kevin Strakota says, question for Marco. The Rolex 6542 albino white dial, apparently this was a limited production, fewer than 200 made for Pan Am executives. Have you seen one? Any idea what one would go for if it were to surface?
I have never seen one in person. This is kind of a unicorn watch. It's almost mythical at this point. Having said there's 200, I would actually argue there's probably only 20, if not less. I think there was 200 given out, and I think a lot of those were black dials and some are white. I believe the white dials were in very, very, very few numbers. Regardless, these are watches that are kept pretty much in safes and vaults and so forth around the world. I've never seen one in person. To give you an estimate on the value of the watch would be completely undermining the watch. I have no clue. I'm going to guess it could be high six figures till very, very low seven-figure numbers, but again, I don't know. I haven't seen one in auction in such a long time, but it's a very, very sick watch if we could ever see one in person. If you have one out there, reach out.
George Yang says, for the GC tag that makes a watch unreturnable, couldn't the buyer just remove a link and remove the tag that way?
In theory, yes, they can. The way that they should link it though, would prevent that, because it should go on the bottom of the clasp, or if you have a buckle, there's a certain way to do it through the buckle. But yeah, if you get creative with it.
Frederic says, question for next week. Marco and Jimmy, do you watch any of the other watch channels like Roman Scharf?
I don't really spend too much time watching watch channels on YouTube. It's just, I keep myself very busy throughout the day, and in the evenings, I'm mostly just winding down. I'm not much of a TV person in general, so I don't really get in front. But yeah, occasionally I'll watch Wolven, I'll watch TPT, and I'll watch Roman. I mean, those three channels are great channels to watch as well.
Is this the Frederic that I think is in France?
Yeah, it's him.
Oh, well, welcome back, Frederic. We really appreciate the support. I know you've been watching a lot of our episodes, and I see you in the comments all the time, so thank you so much. I myself don't watch any other channel, to be honest with you. I don't have the time. Honestly, like I said, my day starts at 4:30, I wake up, I'm at the gym by 5, I'm at the office by 7:30, I'm working until about 5 or 6, and then afterwards, I usually go on some type of business event. So like this week, I'm meeting some of our vendors at a hockey game, and then tomorrow I got a basketball game. Yesterday, I met with our attorney to review some other legality matters. On Monday, I went to a dinner with a client, so like, I just don't have time to watch. If someone is nearby and they see something cool and they share with me, that's usually the only time I know what's going on outside.
No Pew Pew Me says, question for next week. Have you ever considered having a dedicated online buyer?
Right now, I think we all kind of work as a team, so everybody kind of does a little bit of everything right now as far as the buying goes. Like, I know Vic is pretty good, getting good at buying. Alfred is our main buyer. I am mostly doing a lot of buying as well. I focus on the trades, and I also focus on, the vintage stuff, as you guys know. As today, I'm sporting a 1680. This watch just came in today, but I think this one's going to be a keeper for a little bit. I kind of like trading in and out of these watches. It's just a lot of fun for me to kind of experience something new here and there. But regardless, yeah, it's a team effort.
I have some really exciting things that I want to share with you guys, but I can't. Give it about 2 or 3 weeks. We've been working on a lot of things behind the scenes on what to expect this holiday season. So hopefully everything is coming together and we can launch sometime in mid-November. I've learned that you never want to come up with all of these different ideas and not deliver. So we're going to keep it a little bit quiet until we have it all buttoned up. But I'm hoping for mid-November, you guys are going to see something exciting. But until then, we'll see you next week, guys. Thank you.